Hey guys, Kristen back here, and today we're going to talk a little bit on a controversial hot topic, hot take, and that is horse slaughter. And my personal belief is that it is a useful tool to have, and that we never should have actually shut down the horse slaughter houses in the United States. Um, they export to Canada and Mexico for horses for slaughter. There's a lot of stuff involved, and while there is some um, money coming into the U.S. from it and all, it's not as much as what used to be with when we had our own slaughterhouses here. That actually did produce a decent amount for the economic growth of our place, but even that aside, I find, um, while it is a hard topic and it's not the most pleasurable thing to think about, I do think it was useful. There are a number of horses out there that just unfortunately don't have enough of, I don't want to say purpose, because I can understand how that can be seen as
We have a lot of
like,
overbreeding too.
yeah, and poor breeding.
Yeah.
Really. You know, you have the backyard breeders, and the thing is with it too is that not everyone can support financially, physically, emotionally a horse that just is in a field. As unfortunate as it is, yes, I mean, some horses just unfortunately you can't even support, can't be supported even if they are rideable and different stuff, but they are more likely, if the horse has a good brain, if the horse has a good temperament, if the horse is rideable or even just good to hang out with and everything else. And I'm not talking about your old seniors that have lived a long life and have done a huge amount of stuff and they're in retirement. I'm talking about the horses that have um, chronic issues, neurological issues, or just, and when I say bad temperament, I'm not talking about a snotty horse or one that just challenges you a little bit, or your chestnut mare attitude. I'm talking about one that the temperament is unpredictable, explosive, and dangerous.
And I have to say too, I think that this law was made with a whole bunch of good intentions, but it didn't look at the big picture, right? And so one of the things that has always irked me or bothered me about this change was that we banned slaughter in the United States, but we didn't ban the export for slaughter. We didn't ban slaughter buyers from being able to buy these horses. So now what has happened is we still have kill buyers coming in, and these horses have to be shipped with these ailments that you're talking about for a long period of time. And they can be sent to Japan. They can be sent to Canada, and they can be sent to Mexico. And the animal welfare in those countries is a lot worse than here. They don't monitor the slaughter facilities the way we do. They don't monitor what medications they're given. I mean, if you look at some of the slaughter videos that come out of Mexico, it's awful. Yeah. It's absolutely awful. And Canada had the PMU facilities. We know that Canada's not a great place to send animals if you want a humane death. And I'm not saying we were the best here, but we did try, and we were trying to make regulation. And so if you're going to make change, the problem is, like you're saying, we have an overpopulation of horses in our country, right? And a lot of people can't afford euthanasia. Euthanasia is extremely expensive, you know, because you have to look at not only putting the horse down, but getting it buried, that type of stuff, and irresponsible breeding. So you have these factors that make animals suffer. So what's worse, going to a holding facility and being slaughtered, or a lifetime of suffering?
And you know, having that use too, because the slaughter here would go, and the use of the horse, the product of the skin, the sinew, the meat and different stuff for different things, right? And so U.S. slaughter, you know, in the United States, we don't eat horse, but in those other countries that they're being exported to for slaughter, not all of them, but many of them do consume horse meat. And nothing against the other countries and the cultures that have that. But if you're getting horses from the United States and everything, they're often being given medications and different products that on the label says not intended for use for or for human consumption. And so they're getting these things that are just not all that healthy, and it's not safe.
And I also want to preface, we aren't like saying that you should go send your horse to a auction and send them out for slaughter instead of euthanasia. I'm not saying that, right? I mean, for me personally, I euthanize my horses. They get a very wonderful, quiet end of life. But I do think for those people that have a horse that maybe they can't afford to do this, they need some sort of option too, because suffering is not good as well too. So I wanted to just put that out there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, hey, go send your horse.
Like you only do that or whatever, but it would be another option and another use or purpose for the horse too, that maybe cannot just manage in a life in this time frame because of whatever reason. And I'm not saying that your horse that you can't ride or your pasture puff or anything needs to do that. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that there are so many chronic issues out there in a lot of these overbred horses and poor breeding, things that happen because they bred terrible conformation to terrible conformation, and then you get this awkward Franken pony and it can't ever stay sound.
And that's a whole nother thing. It's so hard because people do these irresponsible things.
Yeah. And I think one of the other things too about shutting down the slaughterhouses in the U.S. and with the kill bars coming in from different places is that you get those bad rescues. And I just say bad, the ones that pull at your heartstrings, the one that are just going for the money because they'll talk about all these different horses that they pull. And they'll spend thousands of dollars to pull one horse from a kill buyer when there are plenty of other horses that could use that money. And it's one of those things that it can be hard to go back and forth. But one of the things I want to caution too on the rescue side is if a rescue is constantly going to auctions or kill buyers and pulling these horses from them, but their skin stretched across bone and everything, you have to question yourself. What in the business side of it, be honest with like what actual slaughter or kill buyer who earns money for these horses by the pound would actually grab this horse that has no body mass, that is 200-300 pounds underweight, right? I've seen videos of these rescue people just like crocodile tears and everything else talking about this horse that they got, and this horse can barely stand because it's so underweight, and they're like, we just rescued it from the kill bar. But it's like, no, you didn't. And it goes into, and you've probably seen it too and everything else, where like the slaughter pipeline and everything else, where you have these people that pay X amount of hundreds of dollars or maybe a couple $1,000s for this horse, but these people still have a quota to fill, and they're going to fill it. So this one horse that you see, it just paid for 2 other horses to go on the truck, right? Mm-hmm. And so again, there is a lot that goes into it, and there's no easy answer. There's no easy fix for this. There's no easy way to go about it where it feels okay or right. But I do think that it was a disservice to close down the slaughter for horses in the U.S. and we've got to figure something out.
So a little bit of background about me, because I wanted to be a veterinarian, was I did do a lot of rotations with different veterinarians in different jobs. And one of them was volunteering at the slaughter facility at UC Davis. And what I will tell you is, at least at that facility, they tried very hard to be humane. And there is always veterinarians on staff. And there's some bad cases out there. I've seen it. We've all seen it in the news. I'm not saying everybody's great. But There are things that you don't think about that horses can be slaughtered for in the US. They can be slaughtered so that their hoof can be dissected for veterinarians. They can be slaughtered for, skeletal anatomy. They can be slaughtered for, veterinarians to practice dissections. There's a lot of things that a horse can be slaughtered for. And at least the facility that I was at was very clean. And like I said, the veterinarians were very involved in the process, making sure the animals looked healthy and making sure that everything was done to our regulations. And I know that's not done in other countries. I know that, especially to the border to the south of us. And so it does really irritate me that these horses have to get on a truck. Let's say, especially a lot of our facilities, some of them are in the middle of our country, and then they are transported in a stock trailer, that's meant for cattle a lot of times, and crammed together and put on a very long trailer ride. Some of them are, when they show up there, they're down in the trailer, they've been trampled, they've been whatever. And I just can't understand how you tell me that that's better than what we were doing previous. Like, how is that better?
Yeah.
That seems so much worse to me.
Yeah.
So,
and again, because I know there's going to be people out there, we're not saying that every horse needs to be slaughtered.
No.
We're not saying that every non-rideable horse or chronic issued horse or whatever has to be and everything else. It would just be an option.
We need reform.
It would be an option for the overpopulation and different things, because the other thing that you look at too with the overpopulation is the neglect, the abuse, and different stuff going on.
Right.
I'm not going to say that's going to solve it either, but it can help reduce.
Yeah, I hope that you guys can listen to this video in whole and know our hearts are good, and we are not condoning sending a horse to slaughter, but it does need to be an option. But also, for me, at least more importantly, we haven't actually taken the option off the table, unfortunately, by doing this. We just sent it to another place to happen. So, yeah, right?
Different location.
Yeah. So let us know your thoughts on this, and we'd love to have some wonderful discussion in the comments. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us.